All right, so we are going to cover three features for the webinar today. We will talk about the free charts which are available in PHI for all users, for all registered users, that they can freely use all NSE data, including options and futures, how to access that. Then we will talk about the strategy templates which are built into PHI for you to quickly get started. We will use them with futures and option instruments. And finally, we will introduce the option leg builder that can help you calculate your risk reward profile for multi-leg strategies. All right, to begin with, everything for display is on the left side on PHI and action is on the right. So we start with the chart display. All right, so all the instruments on NSE are available. Let's start with the cash instrument before we go into the options. So let's take an example of any symbol that you're interested in. So, so you can display any chart, any symbol related price data, and all these time frequencies are available. So you can go all the way down to a minute. All right, and you have the option to apply as many indicators as you want. There is no limitation like a free account or TradingView will impose. You can keep on adding as many indicators as are required for your analysis. All right, so once you're done with analysis on the cash instruments, you can move to futures and options. Very easy to select. So for any future option, you choose your symbol, choose any particular expiry you're interested in, and just hit generate. Again, just like any cash instrument, you can go all the way down to a minute. And during live market hours, all our charts update with each and every tick in the market. Again, you have the option to apply any set of technical indicators. And another great feature is that once you're connected your broker to your particular account, you can place your buy and sell order directly from our interface. You don't need to go to the broker. Even though our platform is meant for complete automation, where the purpose of our charts is for you to come up with rules that can be coded into a strategy. But if you find a setup on the charts itself, you can place your buy and sell orders from this interface. And you can save any interface and load it into the future. So let's say I save it like so it has been saved and it can be reloaded into the future if you want to continue your analysis. Similarly, we can I'll request either Aviral or Deepak to please unmute and just keep coordinating if I'm completely audible, everybody is able to understand. Somebody to provide me a little feedback. Okay, so similarly with our option instruments, we can choose our symbol, any expiry, any appropriate strike price that we are interested in, and then for it to be a call or a put option. Again, very simple interface to make your selection and then hit generate. And now you have the display of premium data. And you can go down to a minute. So this will give you a new spectrum of analysis that's not very easily or freely available on other platforms. You have access to all futures and options data with a large history, and during live market hours, you have live data. So you can start conducting your analysis, which will lead to further ideas for strategy creation or your own setups here, which will give you trade ideas to execute right on this interface itself. All this data, all these indicators freely available for all registered users. All right, so okay, thank you. All right, so very powerful charting feature. Uh, you Another thing that you so there is two ways to select our option instruments on our platform. One is you can give a precise strike and an expiration date, like in this case, like we made the selection. Or we also have dynamic monthly and weekly options. So another mechanism is for you to select any particular strike for the dynamics strike at the money or any of its relations for the strikes away for call and put for monthly expiration or weekly expiration. And what you get to see is that now you have a data set which is updating each day. The ATM gets dynamically reloaded, and that will give you new trade ideas of how your premium moves for each expiration from the start to the end. All right, so that's pretty much about the charting functionality. Let's move on to our strategy template. So go to our right menu, select strategy. Now you have two options. One is you can create a basic strategy from the form mode, keep on adding more indicators. We'll talk about the whole complete set of indicators that we have. And then we have the code mode, which is for more advanced strategies. Let's start with the form mode itself. So right out of the box, if you just select SMA, EMA, or any of these strategies, you get uh, a basic buy and sell condition on which you can add a stop loss and a take profit, and you can get your strategy ready right out of the box. Just give it a name, and you're ready to run and save it. All right. As soon as your run completes, at the day frequency, you get the default run for a year, and you can see your overall return, on average, how many trades are taking place, your summary metrics, your long trades, short trades, positive, negative ones. And you can inspect each and every individual trade, its entry, day and time, its exit, and your overall return. And also the signals are displayed on charts for your visual inspection and verification. All right, so the template just makes it very easy for you to get started, but you can keep on adding as many indicators as you want to experiment with. All right, so form mode is for very general strategies where you can have a set of indicators with either and or conditions and just give your exit based on target and stop loss. Now, if you want to build more sophisticated strategies, you need to come to our code mode. Okay, so here we have we have some templates. So we have 10 odd basic templates here for you to get the basic syntax going. And similarly, our blogs and our videos talk about other strategies. So let's choose the very first one, Bollinger Bands. And it just gives you a very basic template. It gives you an initial indicator for you to calculate and take your buy and sell orders based on where your current price is in relationship to the Bollinger Band with the default parameters. All of this is malleable. You can change you can of course change the indicators or the parameters and your buy and sell conditions. So let's start with Nifty. I'll also show how to add another indicator to make the strategy work better. So we have taken the Nifty 50 index at the day frequency. You can start experimenting with the higher frequencies also, or choose your favorite instrument once you have created a strategy. All right, so just because we have given an indicator and we have given our entry and exit conditions, our strategy is ready to run, and we can just have the default run immediately. Just with the drop down selection, you can have your default run without writing a single piece of code. All right, so we had our default run. at the day frequency. So for a year. Now we saw that our strategy is not working. So what is our option? Our option could be, you have to apply your own trading knowledge to add another indicator or change the parameters. In this case, I'll show how to add another indicator live so that we can make the strategy work for us. So we'll introduce a new technical indicator called MACD, which also in addition to us Bollinger Band telling us where price is in relation to its historical mean, MACD tells us what is the current trend in the price. So we only take our position when we only take a short position when MACD is negative, and we take a positive position when MACD is on the uptrend. All right. So once we have added the indicator, just we need to add our condition into our step codes clause. All right. So this is our entry point from the top. So we want MACD to be less than 0 here. Okay, so similarly on the other end, for the uptrend, we want MACD to be greater than 0. Rest everything stays the same. We've just added another indicator to filter out some of the trades which were not in our favor. And just like that, we can run it again for better performance. See, we are able to make it work. We filtered out all the negative trades which were not in our direction. Now we get only two trades, both of which are positive, and we can inspect the individual trades. All right. So we are not, our templates are just to give you the syntax to get going. We are not limited to only these technical indicators. So you have to go to our learn section to see that we have 119 of them. So just like we've used two right now, Bollinger and MACD, you can choose any of these, any combination of these to make your strategy work. All right. So we go back to our strategy. All right, let's move to our next example, which is we want to choose some other templates and show you how to run option instruments also along with the strategy. So now after Bollinger, let's move to SMA. Again, just to give you the basic syntax, you can change the parameters to find your appropriate crossover and keep on adding other indicators to make it work. Okay, I'll run it the default on TCS for 1-day frequency. I have to just give a name. So once you select any strategy from the strategy template, you just have to give a name and choose your appropriate symbol and time interval to make it work. And ready to run. All right. So you have a working strategy right out of the box. You inspect your trades. Now, if it's working, you can start using other functionalities of the system with the strategy name because it's saved in your strategy account by now. You change your time intervals, change your periods, change your parameters, and see what happens. And if you're getting a lot of negative trades, now then there is the next step for you should be to take advice from one of our advisors, in-house advisors, who can help you with your negative trades by adding, removing some indicators. Okay, but like you see, you can get going with just a few clicks. You don't have to code to get started. Now, once we are done with these two strategies, let's take another example. Okay, we'll stick with SMA, and I'll show how we can choose a option instrument now. So we are not limited to cash instruments. Let's say you are interested in a particular Nifty option instrument with a particular expiration and strike. You just choose it. So let's say I'm interested in 17,500 call option. I'll run it at the R frequency. Okay, so you have to apply your trading knowledge to make it work by changing the parameters. But for a default run, what I'm trying to show is how do you select the appropriate option instrument and the time frequency. And again, it's ready to run out of the box. Okay, so now you have a strategy which is working on premium data, and all the other features stay the same. You can again visually inspect all the trades, see how the premium has changed over time for that particular strike and expiration. Look at each individual trade and make the strategy more sophisticated by applying stop loss conditions or maybe time stops, okay, or any stop at the weekly expiration, whatever you want to, as in how you want to further sophisticate the strategy. Okay, but you can get started very easily, even with option instruments, future instruments. Okay, the next example I want to show is how to run our dynamic option with Bollinger Band strategy. So let's go back. We'll load it again. The default run, we won't fix it this time. And just like we made our selection on the charts, we select our instrument, weekly option at the money. You can choose out of the money options as well, call option. And I want to run it again at the hour frequency. Okay, so Nifty dynamic weekly option at the money call option. This at the money means every day it chooses the particular strike which is at the money. So giving it an hourly time frequency should have some mean reversion tendency for us to have some opportunity. But again, when you are choosing exotic instruments like this, you have to ensure that your selection of period depth factor is according to that. You may need to add more indicators, but this is again for the default run. Similarly, you can do it for the monthly option. And it's not limited to Nifty and Bank Nifty. You can do it for any option for an instrument which has good liquidity. All right. So there's a return with a high spike. Now you have to make sure if it's meaningful, or you have to inspect each and every individual trade to find meaning in it. Of course, premium varies very rapidly from day to day. So you have to just ensure that this is a true opportunity. Okay, so we'll take one more strategy and now we'll run it for futures. Again, part of our templates. Okay, we can directly select it. Now we move to a slightly advanced strategy, which requires two instruments, and it's a quant strategy, which a lot of hedge funds use. I mean, it's available by default, so you can read through it. You can read it on our blog for explanation. We have some videos again, just discussing it in complete detail. But right now, I'll give a very general explanation of what it tries to achieve. Okay, so I have chosen two instruments. Now I want to run for continuous future instruments. So you have to choose any two stocks which you feel have the same fundamentals from the same industry. In this case, we choose Nestle India and Dabur. So let's select it. You can choose the underlying cash instrument also, but in this case, we want the future instrument. So Nestle India F1. You can go with F2, F3 also. These are continuously moving futures. So Nestle India F1, and we take Dabur F1. You can do the same thing with Cipla and Sun Pharma or whatever pair you have intimate knowledge about. Dabur. Okay, just two instruments. In this case, we are running at day frequency, but you have to find a logic to make it work at other frequencies also. Nestle India F1 day frequency, Dabur day frequency. Okay, so now what this strategy does, it tries to find the relationship between the two, and it tries to ensure that that relationship persists in time. Okay, so how it achieves that is a part of a lot of statistical calculations. But once it has established that, finally, if there is a relationship which persists in time, whenever that relationship diverts a bit temporarily, it gives it an opportunity to buy one of the futures and sell the other. And as the relationship reverts back, it gives it opportunity to square off both simultaneously, which means it makes it a market neutral strategy. You are not exposed to the overall market, only the relationship between two stocks that you have chosen. Or to a cash instrument, to future instruments, or it could be a relationship between at the money call of a Nifty and a bank Nifty, if such a relationship exists. Again, you have just loaded a strategy, you've not written any code, just given it a name, selected your instruments, and it's ready to run. Slightly computationally intensive strategies, taking a few rich seconds. All right, again, you get some return. And now you get to see that whenever we are long one, we are short the other, and a simultaneous square off. Now, like I said, you have to make it work by changing some of the parameters or choosing some other version of the instruments. But it works right out of the box for you. So that is what our strategy template module provides you. And once a strategy has been created, in this case, we have named it demonstration 3. So it's visible under your strategy pane. Where is it? Okay, here. And now you can do all the other operations of idea book, of bulk back testing, paper trading, and deployment using this out of the box strategy, or what you have refined by adding or removing indicators from it. And all that, again, videos are available how to run our bulk back test. This is a single interface for you. It can test any historical time period for you on a large set of securities. Plus, it can track live markets for you with your strategy that has been constructed from the templates, or you have written by yourself from scratch. On live markets, give you a notification or automatically route your trades to your broker. Okay. All this information is available on our videos. Please check out our PHI YouTube channel for that. And if Deepak, Aviral, we can take some queries at this stage before we go to the option leg builder, or whatever you suggest. Are you able to speak? Okay. Can I unmute somebody? Okay, then you have to figure out how we'll take queries in the end, maybe. You can't speak. All right, so I'll move on to the option leg builder, and then we will come to the final stage of the queries where we'll try to unmute everyone. Okay, so at this stage, we've covered are freely available options and futures data along with cash instruments, unlimited indicators on our charts. We have seen how to use our template strategies, and templates are just to give you the right syntax to get started, but 118 indicators are available on our in our learn section, which you can directly use within your strategy editor. Let's finally move to our option leg builder. Okay, so the purpose of the option leg builder is for you to keep on adding multiple legs to an option, to a single option, and keep on dynamically changing your return and risk profile. You can start with standard multi-leg option strategies also like butterfly, which we will construct in this case, and we'll modify it to see how our risk and reward profile changes. And finally, we are able to execute that trade as a single order from the platform and save it as a template, change the instrument. So a lot of features coming in. Okay, so all of you option traders who are aware that for a butterfly strategy, we try to sell at the money call and put, and then we buy covers. In this case, we will build a ratio butterfly strategy and see how our return and risk profile looks. Okay, so Nifty 50, our default choice. Let's choose a further down expiration, 39. So I need to choose ATM, and I want to sell 2 units of my ATM put and call. Okay, so I've sold my 2 units of ATM put and call. Now I need to buy my covers, which I'll buy in 3 units. So for my 17,200, let's say I buy 17,500 as my call cover. 17,500 from 200. Okay, I need to buy this 3 units. I'm just adding a cover position. And similarly for our put cover, we will go down the line. So from 17,200, we will go to 16,900. Equidistant cover, and now it's a put, and we buy 3 units of it. Same expiration, same instrument. All right, so we've constructed our butterfly, a ratio spread butterfly. This chart shows you what my P&L will look like given if my underlying price stops at any point on this scale. Okay, if it stops at 16,000, what my P&L will look like with all the 4 legs, and if it goes all the way there. These are my break-even points. I won't make anything if the price stops at these levels, and these are my maximum loss points. So you see, my maximum profit is open-ended. My maximum loss is fixed. In this case, my break-even points are known, and this is the net credit which I've collected, which means I have the premiums that I've sold were expensive than the premium I've paid to buy my covers, even though I've bought more covers. But as you know, OTMs are cheaper than ATMs. Next step you can track is the Greeks of all these 4 options. You have access to the implied volatility, delta, theta, gamma, vega, and a lot of option traders like to neutralize their delta or try to form some gamma exposure or to collect theta. As the market changes on a daily basis, you can readjust your exposure to these Greeks. And finally, it will keep a track of your P&L as the market price moves. Okay, so once we have created it, now we have 2 options. First is we can save it. Just give it a name. Okay, so it has placed a limit, but you'll be able to save it. And the second thing you can do is you can place all these orders once you're satisfied with all the legs. Now, this whole set can go as a single order to your particular broker that is connected to your account. Or if you want individual execution and limit price, you place each order in individual capacity. But the right way to do it is to place all the orders as a single set, so that either you get all the 4 positions or the other ones also don't get executed or reversed back. So that's the beauty of our option leg builder. And let me come back to it. So this is the one I've constructed earlier. I can load it. All right, so coming back to it. So I've loaded it, and now I can change my instrument and my position stay the same. So I don't need to construct it again and again. So now you see it has moved towards the bank nifty from our nifty. And again, it's ready. You're ready to place the orders in a single go. All right, so that is all the functionality we wanted to present in today's webinar. And now we are open to queries. Okay, now I can unmute everyone. So Deepak, it's over to you.
There were a few ones in the chat, if you can look at them, Gaurav. Let me read them out for you. Or somebody.
Can you hear me? This is Rajesh here. Hello.
Yeah, please ask your query.
Okay. So I was just going through the option chain. I just have one query on the delta that's been currently shown on your option chain. You're using a different set of formula for calculating it, or because it looks a bit different, because I had been using Sensible. So I just wanted to understand whether, because there is different weighted methodology to probably arrive at the delta. So I just wanted to understand, is it the standard one, the black solus, or is it something different?
It is black shows, but
Okay.
but the specific details are, we'll need to check with the developers and get back to you.
Okay, but it is still based on that itself, right? So
It's
you
based
capture
on the,
the,
yeah.
okay, you capture the implied volatility as well as the other components. Okay.
Yes.
Because the
take the
numbers
trade now.
looks, okay, the number looks a bit different. So that's why I just checked. Sure. Thank you.
All right. Okay, Deepak, you can continue to read the queries.
Yeah, hold on. I'll just open them. So, yeah. One of it was around strategy. Can we have time-based strategy? Can we create time-based strategy for options, Bank Nifty? That was the question.
Time-based strategy. Like, can you ask the user to elaborate it further?
I believe he wanted to check if we can do algorithmic strategies on options. So I had replied that yes, you can. So all of the instruments that are to do with options, including the dynamic options that you mentioned in the beginning, they're all available to be used with algos.
Yeah. So all the instruments that you can load on the charting interface, they are available for all the functionality of the system. But like you said, like I showed in one of the examples, you have to make logical sense out of it, and it can't ensure that it's not a spurious result set. But yeah, but in principle, on logic, you can execute algorithmic strategies on all option and future instruments. Okay, anything else?
No, I think most of the questions were answered by Aviral. If there's anything else, I mean, we are open to questions.
Or we can talk about So Gyan, you have anything to add to talk about some of our plans and advisor sessions?
So I'll just say to all of our attendees that herein our vision is to condense as much as knowledge and present as much as trading knowledge, the complex knowledge, and present to you in a simple format. So as to onboard you on a successful trading journey. And we had a very uh, let's say step by step approach to it. So we give you some classical strategies that are in templates, and then you can back test. And then once you have done that, and we that give that in our basic plan itself. Once you have done that, and either you are happy with the results or you want to code yourselves, and then if you're facing some problem in coding, then we have a coding assistance for you. It's free and paid both. Free with our quarterly plan and paid with our basic plan. And then again you test it out, and then you can back test it out in the history, and then you can simulate or paper trade it. Once you are either happy, then you can deploy it. Of course, not happy, then we have veteran traders with us who will sit with you. And again, it's free with our quarterly plan and it's paid with basic, and they will help you improve your strategy. So, in a sense, we have lined up all the ingredients that can make your trading journey is very effective and successful. And our you see our instruments range from cash to options. So please feel free to give any feedback on that, and let us know if we are missing any step that you think could have helped you a lot.
Okay, I think Gaurav, we can wind it up.
Okay, so thank you everyone for your time. We will continue to do these webinars more frequently from this point on and bring you more feature set, more content in terms of more advanced strategy implementations, and even expert sessions with one of our in-house advisors. So just to sum it up, we covered that uh, all the futures and options data is freely available on our platform, unlike others. So you can freely use it just as a registered user without any subscription. 118 indicators are available to you to take our template strategies and add all those indicators to it to make it work. And finally, our option leg builder will lets you add as many legs as you want and execute it in one go to modify your risk reward. And we are coming up with more and more option features like back testing on these standard set of butterflies and our iron condor like strategies in the future releases. All right, thanks again for your time. I hope it was useful and enjoyable. Thank you.